Tell us a little bit about what it was like kind of growing up as a monster kid. Those films that really got you hooked on the ideas of sci-fi and monsters and all that good stuff.
I grew up in the 1950s, and there was a wave of science fiction movies happening then. And most of them were big monster movies, like Them, Beginning of the End, big giant monsters. And we didn't have a youth culture, per se, back then. We had a little rock and roll. But radio stations would play like Frank Sinatra, then Elvis, and then, Monteverdi, and then another rock and roll song. We didn't have anything for us. And monster movies was it. I just fell in love with them. So my favorite films are probably from the 50s, from the 1950s. Horror and science fiction.
Of course, there's probably one or two fans here of a movie called Halloween, I'm going to guess. And, no penalty complete unless we talked a little bit about that. Now, you probably talked about this film to death. How do you feel about it now?
I feel great about it. Here's the reason why. I made that movie when I was 30 years old. I was still trying to get in the movie business. And we had about 22 days of shooting. We had Donald Pleasance, Jamie Lee was there, had Dean Cundy. We had a great time making it. And it sort of boosted my career. And it turned me into a director to be reckoned with. What that means is if you make them money, they like you. If you don't make them money, they don't care about you. That's as simple as that. So finally I started getting offers and I was on my way. But ever since then, they decided to make sequels to Halloween, which I never thought was a good idea. Because I never thought, and this is how stupid I am, I never thought there was any story left. I thought the story ended at the very end there, and that was it. But no. However, I will tell you one thing. I'm not going to talk about what I think of the sequels and the remakes. That's up to you to decide. But, every time they make a new Halloween movie, something really great happens to me. Let me tell you what it is. I'm sitting on my couch. My feet are up. I read in the trades that they're going to make a new Halloween. I extend my hand and a check lands. This is the kind of job I've wanted my entire life. I think the reason for Halloween, the reason behind it, besides all the obvious things, which had a movie to make, had a story to tell, because every little town, at least it wasn't true in my little town that I grew up in, has a kind of a haunted house, a story, an old house that's abandoned, a story of something happened there years ago. And so I just decided to take that and make a feature-length film on it. That's really all there was to it. Michael Myers is on the edge of being a human and a ghost. And that's what the tension in the film. He's not really a person. That's why I stripped him of all backstory, essentially. Everybody else talks about him, but he's really masked. He has no features. There's no personality there. You see him in one quick shot. That was all designed to make him straddle that line between the natural and the supernatural. As one of the reasons the movie struck a chord, because people hadn't seen that before.
Of course, you have loves outside of filmmaking, obviously. I mean, you're all over the place. You got music, comic books, and also video games. Tell us about your love of video games.
Well, I love playing video games. I grew up playing them with my son, raised me in video games, because he showed me what was going on. So a couple of years ago, a friend of mine, Steve Niles, a comic book artist, and he called me up and said, I'm working on Fear 3. And they pay good money and it'd be a chance for us to hang out. What do you think? So I said, yeah. So we worked on the script together, and it's a whole different ballgame. The designers, the level designers, and the programmers control everything. Everything has to be, you have to follow what they're going to do. But it's a blast. And I love to design and, and generally tell the story of one from the start. It'd be great.
And you play...
I recommend all of you get an old game called The Thing. They put it out because I'm a character. I am me, I'm a character. I get killed in it, but play it.
And I had heard that you actually play online with Steve and other people. Is that true?
No.
You don't have a secret online personality?
I'm not gonna play online. Everybody here's gonna kick my ass.
Maybe we should touch on your scoring work for a moment. Was this something that was more a matter of budget, or do you kind of have this music in your head from the writing stage?
I have no music in my head from the writing stage. It's all improvised. The reason I score movies is because I'm cheap and I'm fast. Seriously, that's it.
But you're great.
Thank you very much. But I don't know if I'll do so many anymore if I make movies. It's too hard, guys. It's exhausting. It's too hard. I'm too old.
I wanted to ask you about the fog. So we didn't talk about that. Your directing style is always simplistic, and the shots are just beautiful, which is very unlike anything that most other movies have ever done. And the fog, I think, captures that atmosphere the best with a lot of those shots. I just wanted you to talk about the fog and how you shot it, and why maybe people might not have, just what you thought about that style, why you do that style, and why it worked for that film.
Well, you use the word simplistic,
Yeah.
and I'm a simplistic kind of guy. And I tell a story a certain way. Now, in The Fog, we made that movie. We shot it on location, and we cut it together, and it was a piece of shit. So I had to go back and reshoot and work on it to make it better. And we released it, and it was open #1, and it was great. But
How did you get the story for that, the fog?
right out of this dome here. But I love, like I say, I just love the lenses, the Panavision lenses, and widescreen. And too bad there's no more Metro Color, because they were the best processing lab in Hollywood at the time. But it's very nice of you to talk about The Fog. That's one of the ones that doesn't get mentioned too much.
One of my favorites.
And I'm working on a comic book called Dark Child. That was a comic in the 90s that was pretty popular. And I'm trying to do a movie version of that. But when people say development, what they mean is trying to raise money. That's what it's all about. So we'll see what happens.
And please give a huge round of applause for being here.